Welcome back to my commentary series on Touhou 18 Unconnected Marketeers. You all seem to really like this, so let's continue with it. We haven't really talked about the extra stage yet, so I shall get into extra. I am going to do a post commentary of a no miss no bomb no card run I did. So I used Reimu because I felt that she would be the easiest because of the stage portion, and she definitely is the best at handling this stage section. As you can see, the opening part is very smooth. You can just alternate sides and easily collect these items, and you should get to 2 power at the end of this section. Over here, just killing these yin-yangs before they overwhelm. Really easy to do, especially as a Reimu. So I killed the left side there, and then I sort of just streamed around on the right side. There's many ways of doing this part here. You can start from the top of the screen and stream down if you want to. Especially as Reimu, I think you have the most freedom in how you approach this stage. These bullets here are very slow, but they're also aimed at you, although you'll want to make your way to the top of the screen for this section here. And the way I kind of do this is I just slowly stream downward. I don't know if this works as Marissa or Sakuya, but as Reimu and Sane, this is really clean. We should get max power by this point. Thankfully, this stage does drop a lot of power on the stage portion, so it's like a blessing. So this part here really isn't notable at all. It's just a bunch of little death fairies. Not even death fairies, they're just like greater fairies, but pretty easy to take down. Got the mid-boss Tsukasa, who starts off with a very, very easy spell. You can misdirect the first wave in the corner if you like. It just makes things a lot more simple, but you don't even need to really do that. It's a really simplistic card, but the corner strat just makes it a complete non-issue, so that's what I do. Second spell gets a little bit tricky because the RNG of the lasers means that, like, sometimes you can find yourself surprised. It's basically Shin Miyomaru's last non except all directions, and it's not that hard because there's a lot of spaces, but it just sometimes the RNG is just brutal, and you just gotta twitch out of the way or just die and reset. Third spell, the sun's falling down, has RNG to it, although I do think if you go to the left on this part and then kind of make your way back into the middle right, you should be okay. You just have to be really careful when squeezing through the green stars for obvious reasons. So I actually messed up the mid-boss part, or the post-midboss part here, so please do not copy my route for this. For the first wave I did it just fine. I did the second phase fine as well in terms of Reimu, although I streamed down too quickly and kind of messed that up. I thought, okay, so here I kind of blundered. I was really spaced out and I thought I was on the final phase, so I did my strat where I streamed on the top of the screen and then move around, but then I got panicked when I realized that the section wasn't actually over, so I had to do some really wonky escape dodges there. I feel like I only got away with that because I was a Reimu, but yeah, don't do it like that, honestly. I just, again, just blunders. I mean, it happens in Touhou, we're only human, but completely miscounted the wave I was on and had to make a stupid recovery. This part here, kind of annoying, because these fairies are very healthy. So what I like to do is after the first wisp wave, I like to start misdirecting them to the top corners, because I just find it the easiest way to handle them. They're not that difficult, but again, I like to misdirect them. It just makes it less painful. I stay unfocused as Reimu because our homing makes quick work of these. And after you're done with the last wave, go ahead and make yourself to one of the corners. And so the way I do this is I tackle one line of the wisps, and then I move up and around the screen and go around and damage the other one. And then I do the same for the second wave, just kind of go up and around the screen. It's pretty self-explanatory. The last part of the stage actually isn't that difficult because it doesn't work as it's intended to. The rice bullets don't actually move. They're just glitched, so it doesn't work right. So it's kind of funny, honestly. Weird oversight, programming error, etc. So I just went for the pendant, but I mean, I wouldn't begrudge anyone who went for the lives in this particular condition, because you're not gonna, I mean, for no miss, no bomb, you're not planning on dying anyway. Anyway, for the first stun, it's important that after the first wave, you start dodging on the sides, unless she moves up, because you'll find yourself walled. So this spell actually, in my opinion, is hard lunatic difficulty and not really extra mode difficulty, because I find that the dodging from the blue arrows coming back down can be a little bit tricky if the RNG is bad or she's really low on the screen or something, but can be done. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it definitely feels like a tougher spell for extra standards. Most of these non-spells actually really aren't problematic, as long as you just keep in mind that if she goes really low on the screen, you might have to go to the side, but I don't think it matters for that second non. Second spell is atrociously easy. It's basically that one Sawako spell, except it's even slower and less dense. You know that Sawako spell, right? The one with the red rice bullets that you misdirect? It's that, but easier. It's really easy. Okay, so we've got the third non, so basically the second non, but I guess a little bit denser or something like that, but it's one of the easy nons. Third spell is one of the harder spells in the stage, and the strategy is misdirect the yellow jelly bean bullets, and when you're trying to cross through the snakes, just make sure that you find the biggest gap you can. So just look between where the biggest spaces are between the snakes, and just use that as your escape. And frequently misdirect and stream, because those are aimed at you, the yellow bullets. It's really easy with Reimu though, compared to the other shots, I think. Although I don't think it's that big of a deal in general. So on this non, you're going to have to dodge on this side. There's really no, I mean, you could try to do it in the middle, but you're probably just gonna get walled. You're not meant to dodge in the middle, obviously. So go to the sides. Okay, so the fourth spell is, it forces you upwards, basically, and the fortunate thing about this spell is that it does stop going up, so it's not going to go all the way to the top of the screen, but you do need to move up to make sure that you don't, because if you dodge under that line, right, you can see how crazy the bullets are, you're just not going to make it. So just stream your way up. It's more bark than bite. This non-spell works just like the last one, just don't dodge in the middle, and you'll be fine. Can be a little hard to kill, I guess, but I'm gonna take advantage of Reimu's homing amulets to give myself an easy time here. Gotta say, I really like this theme song, by the way. It's intimidating, but also fun and energetic. Okay, so I like to misdirect the first wave of this on the side of the screen, upper side of the screen. You can also do it in the corner. The rule of thumb on this spell is that you want to maximize your distance from the boss, and don't worry too much about the jelly beans. Although they are scary, remember that they are aimed, so you can just tap. Your bigger concern is watching this stuff from behind, from the explosion bullets, so just dodge those and try to tap whenever you feel like the jelly beans are about to hit you, and try to misdirect the jelly beans on the walls as well, so you get an easier time. It's a hard RNG spell by extra standards, but you'll have those in extra sometime, right? So it is what it is. This non-spell is very easy. It's just left-right tapping. Actually, the next non-spell is also easy. This spell is an absolute joke as a Reimu, because the unfocus amulets basically, for lack of a better term, they basically neuter this spell, because, I mean, it just doesn't get to take off because you're always damaging it with the homing. It's trickier as the other shots for obvious reasons, but it isn't even hard to dodge. It's just spinning around, and Reimu just makes it into a joke. Absolute joke as Reimu. This non-spell is also pretty easy. It looks scary, but the density is just bark. It's not really any bite at all. Next spell is scary, however. So I'll be honest here, I don't know if this is the most optimal strat for dealing with this spell, but it's how I do it as Reimu anyway. I move around the screen pretty wildly because I don't trust these snakes. They're like vaguely aimed at you, and I feel like sometimes they can like claw out at you, like they can reach farther than you think they will, and their hitboxes are massive, so I don't take any chances. I just circle. I do a basically square streaming, if anything, just around the screen. I think you can just dodge at the bottom underneath the boss and just kind of try to wiggle between the snakes, but it makes me uncomfortable. The stun spell is a bit tricky because sometimes it will try to fake you out. You just have to understand, like, when you have to understand which gaps to go into based on which setup you're getting. I can't explain it in like 10 seconds. So this spell card is fairly easy as Reimu, but tricky as non-Reimu. For obvious reasons, it's just a misdirection spell. Move around the screen a lot and stay unfocused a lot and let your homing amulets do the work. That's what I did. Pretty simple, really not that problematic. Unless you're like, yeah, again, not Reimu, and then it's just kind of annoying. Although there might be strategies for it. I didn't root it. I only played Reimu and Sane. Okay, survival spell time. So unlike the last few extras, this one actually isn't glitched. If you bomb or die or whatever, the boss doesn't appear. So the strategy to this one is that you have to let the butterflies create a gap for you to move through to escape. It's a cool design, although I think the spell just kind of drags on a little bit to my tastes. So the trick to this spell is, think about it this way. Is it easier to dodge if you're behind the butterfly or in front of the butterfly? If you go around the butterfly when it's moving down, and you can't do this for every wave, but if you follow behind the butterfly's route, it'll keep clearing bullets as you're moving with it. So some waves, if you can, you'll want to get behind the butterfly and then follow it out of the ring so it creates a constant trail for you. If you try to go through the gap in the direction the butterfly just came, you could get, like right here, it's usually okay, but sometimes it's a bit scary. The butterflies are also aimed at you, by the way, if you couldn't tell that already. I had a spooky situation here, but I got out of it. Like right there, if I had tried to dodge downwards, I would have died. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for this butterfly, and then I'm going to follow behind it and let it lead me to my escape route. Really cool concept. I think it's really creative, and I like that spell. Wish I could say I like the final spell, but I really don't. I don't think this final spell is that epic for an extra final, and I know this sounds a bit nitpicky, but I gotta bully this spell for a little bit because I just don't think it really takes off. Compared to most extra finals, this one isn't really that difficult at all. In fact, I would argue this is the easiest final extra spell in all of Touhou. It just doesn't pick up. I don't know if it has a secret timeout phase or anything like that, but the normal spell itself is just not that difficult compared to the other extras. I think it might be a reference to Mushihime-sama, like the Aki TLB final, but I'm not too sure on that one. It kind of looks like it though, in a way. The final phase, you don't have to zigzag or like wiggle back and forth, you just have to go up. Yeah, you see? Just go up in the gaps, in the spaces, so it's just not hard. It's so slow and you get so many spaces that, you know, it's easy. It's easy. And there you go. That is Touhou 18 Extra. Just wanted to go through that replay and talk about the game. Also, look forward again to the TWC matches tomorrow. You'll be seeing Unconnected Marketeers. So yeah, thanks for watching. I guess there's not really much else to say. Just wanted to do the commentary video. See y'all next time for whatever I do next. Not sure.